How many of Uncle Gene's, young Gene and Judd, how much did Don and Casper, were they up there involved in this in those years?
Oh, yeah. Well, we all rode. Most of the time bareback, because we didn't have any saddles, enough saddles.
Okay, but Don was going to school. We know that, right?
Yeah.
And what would he, the summers there ranching?
Well, Don never went to school.
Well, he went to northern Arizona.
Yeah.
He was in school when he was drafted.
That was in the 40s, and we'd already lost that Indian permit. Don was like the rest of us. We only worked there in the summer.
Okay.
Now, I think there was a year, I know I was there when those calves stampeded. I was 12 years old, and I know Don and Casper and Eugene and Judd and Cap, Humphrey Whiting and Bud Butler and Evan Whiting, plus all of your uncles were there when we were driving those cattle and those calves turned on us.
Okay. But what, Casper and Don weren't up here year round?
No,
Okay.
no.
So it's, go ahead.
All right. I want to establish something, and we got a lot of people here. Uncle Brig died from a gunshot wound.
Yeah.
And I've heard there's different stories, whether it was self-inflicted or a stepson.
It wasn't self-inflicted.
It was?
Wasn't.
Okay.
No,
Was not.
was not. Uncle Al was sheriff, and rather than make a big scene of it in Apache County, I can name the guy they figured did it, but that won't solve anything if it's grandson or son, stepson. Al said inconclusive evidence. And he got the county attorney to okay it, and it was dropped.
Well,
Yes.
they were fighting over water, weren't they?
It was land and water. This stepson figured he should have the land that Rick was running and Sarah's property. He was running a few cattle, and they were just bad blood between he and Brick. Uncle Brick.
I was always told that they took a break and everybody left the room except for Brig and this other guy. They were all outside, they heard a shot, they went back in, and the other guy said Brig shot himself.
Well,
That's what my dad has always told me.
Where was he shot? In the back?
the case was closed, inconclusive evidence.
My dad never said where he was shot.
All I know, the two of them were together at the time, and there was a shot. And where he was hit, I don't know.
Okay, so
Uncle
that's,
Brick,
Make a movie out of it.
Uncle Brick was kind of a hothead. We got in a squabble with a guy named Ike Isaacson over water. That was before Ortega Lake was established. It was when the water ran into Mineral. Well, Ike had some property over there, and he kept cutting the fence to water his cows. And Uncle Brick got hot about it and confronted him about it. Well, Uncle Brick and some of the local town boys were playing poker there at the New Dawn Cafe. No lie, I guess he carried a pretty good grudge. He walked in and picked up the hat rack, hit Uncle Brick in the back of the head with it. They had to haul him the whole route to the hospital. So, they're bad blood up there.
Can I make a comment?
Oh, and we finally ended up giving Isaacson a section of land. Where that fence runs along the road to the cattle garden. Well, that next section over there where that polygamists live, we gave Ike that section of land. And then Ortega come to Grandpa. He said, Cap, could I turn some of that water over here for my sheep? Grandpa says, take all of it. I'm getting tired of pulling the cows out of the bog. Just take it all. And that's when Ortega was established, and that still left Ike Isaacson high and dry with no water.
Well, I'm just gonna try to, all right, now we've had stories about, and I've tried to relate it to the boys, that Cap Naegle, and I don't know if this was prior to your time, Guy, up there, would kind of ramrod, and they would drive round up and just brand and drive to the sale.
Yeah.
Were you involved in that at all?
No.
What's the
It's all
story?
been fenced. It was all fenced. I really can't tell you how all this came about, but there weren't any fences. It was just, you just ran all the cattle you could afford to. That was back pretty close to the time of the hash knife. And if you've ever read the book on the hash knife, you better read it because it's real interesting.
Is that half knife or hash?
Hash.
Hash knife.
Hash knife?
That's the outfit where Chris worked. They still have the hash knife brand. That was part of the old hash knife cattle cook. That was back about the time of the Civil War. In other words, that's about the time Grandpa Johnny was marching across with the battalion.
Well, the hash knife outfit was still alive when DC was young, because
Yeah.
he went to work for the hash knife.
Yeah. But Babbitt bought up a lot of it, and that's how they established that out of Flagstaff. How the hash knife came about was that the Atlantic and Pacific Railroad was formed. And they were going to run from St. Louis to San Francisco. And that's when the Golden Spike was dripping up in
Tremont.
Tremont. Whatever.
Torrey Point,
Utah.
Yeah.
They got every other section of land patented. That's what the government gave them. 25 miles on each side of the railroad. They owned every other section out of it. And they could lease the rest of it from the government. That's how the hash knife was formed. And they've slowly, that corporation is still in operation. That the original 13 millionaires established. It's still going. Because a lot of those Snowflake, Holbrook, and Winslow ranchers leased land from the old, what was the name of their company? They operated the hash knife ranch, but they were incorporated. Bob Carlock has a book, and you can get it over here at the Vernon Library from Beauty, written by Bob Carlock, and it's really good book.
What's the name of the book?
Hash knife.
Just hash knife.